How's it going, everyone? And welcome to BryceBits, where you can get a little bit of wisdom. I'm Bryce Newberger, a pastoral mentor with Side-by-Side Counseling. I'm based in Arizona. Let's dive on in. We're going back into Reddit, and we are on bad roommates this time. So let's take a look at this one. I swear my roommate is 2 toddlers in a trench coat. Listen, she's mostly fine and doesn't hold a candle to a lot of the crap on here, but I need to vent. Non-exhaustive list of the childish stuff this adult woman does. First of all, I just love the picture you've painted with 2 toddlers in a trench coat. That's great. Crumbs on the floor constantly. After every meal, she can't eat without getting crumbs everywhere. Chews with her. Okay, well, first of all, that's common. It bugs me too. But it's funny because most women who I have been in a relationship with have gotten crumbs when they eat. Chews with her mouth completely open. I can sometimes hear it from inside my bedroom. That's an interesting one. Like, what do you mean with her mouth completely open? I've never really understood, like, is it like a cow? Like how do you chew? Like, there's a good pizza. I had to tell her that she could close the microwave door instead of just leaving it hanging open all the time. That bugs me. And that's going to burn out your light. That's not a good thing, especially because the door, when open, blocks the path from the kitchen to the bathroom. Yeah, that's not good. That's a problem. I had to tell her that she should close the microwave door. Okay, there we go. Always cold for some reason. She just turned the heat on yesterday and it was 70 out. No, she's not from the tropics or something. Yeah, temperature can be a tough one with roommates. Is here most of the day, but doesn't get up to cook dinner for herself until I come home. I think she forgets right until the presence of something else, me wanting to eat after a long day, reminds her that the kitchen exists. That can be frustrating. You want to cook your meal, then they're going to jump in and cook, getting in your way. Yeah, that can be a problem. Slams everything as loud as they can. Cabinet doors, chairs, doors in general. I get woken up most mornings by the massive bang as she slams the bathroom door right next to my room. Okay, yeah, that's not very courteous. She originally kept every light on in the apartment all night because she said she needs to see her way to the bathroom. She pees like five times a night, I swear. Originally keep the light on in the apartment all night. Wow, interesting. I said, okay, let me get a nightlight instead. She refused to have the nightlight because it changes colors on a soft gradient. Okay. 8 million bottles of hair product in the bathroom, half empty duplicates. She does that toddler thing of leaving one thimbleful of milk or whatever instead of recycling the empty jug. Or she just straight up puts empty containers back in the cabinet. Okay. We got some problems with this person. For a minute, she was accidentally leaving the gas burners on when she left the apartment. Oh, that's a problem. I said you need to figure out how to stop that immediately before you burn this place to the ground. I could go on. Anyways, it's fine. I'm fine. Yeah. There's some problems here. I think one healthy thing in all of this is, for some of the bigger things you said, I've said. So you're communicating. I think, though, just communicating, sometimes we can think, well, I said it once or I said it twice. That should be enough. Communicating with another person is more of a process than just saying your need out loud once. If I just said my needs out loud once, they would never be honored or respected. You need to communicate. You need to level up your communication. So let's look at some of these. Some of these are just pet peeves. Crumbs on the floor. I would buy a hand vac. Right? That's what I have in my house. Just a quick little hand vac. And so when it bothers me, I just, right? Chews with her mouth completely open. That's just a personal pet peeve of yours. You're going to have to figure that one out. I had to tell her that she could close the microwave door instead of leaving it open. Yeah, so that's good. You communicated that. Also, the problem is like, so telling her this is blocking the bathroom, please close this. It's also going to burn out the light bulb, which is hard to replace in a microwave. That's not just like something that you're just going to a cabinet. You're like, I have another bulb ready to go. You got to like look up the wattage. You got to go to Walmart. You probably have to YouTube a quick video to see how to open the panel based on your microwave. That can be a problem. Always cold for some reason. Always cold for some reason. Get a sweater, a light blanket, right? You can only take so many clothes off, right? And they can only but they can always put more clothes on. So, cardigan, blanket, that could help. So for most of these things, there are little tweaks and little fixes. It seems like you know that. There's no deal breaker here. But the one thing I would encourage you is to level up your communication. Communicate, hey, we've talked about this. This is really bothering me. And I would pick your battles too, because chewing with your mouth open, like whatever. Crumbs on the floor, maybe. Maybe you guys can have your spots where, it's like common areas where it's like on my couch. I'm married, but I have a spot on the couch that's mine, and my wife doesn't ever really sit there. So when she sits in her spot, if she gets crumbs on the floor, like I can see them and be bothered by them, but I also can get crumbs on the floor, though I do feel I'm a little neater. But crumbs also bother me. So I have my hand back and I vacuum up my crumbs. Her crumbs don't bother me. If they're really bothering me, every once in a while I'll go over there and vacuum them up. But this stuff also can, in an apartment, attract cockroaches or carpenter ants or those kind of things. So you could also mention that. But the biggest thing I would say is, in general, it seems like you're pushing for solutions, but your solutions aren't being heeded or being respected. And so is this a domain thing? Who is the primary name on the lease? Who was the first one there? Did you both agree, right? There might be some territorial stuff going on that we're unaware of. If you were in a session with me, I would kind of focus on let's focus on your reactions to the behaviors. Why are some of those things a pet peeve? Not to try and erase them from your mind, but to talk about more creative problem-solving ways we could solve those. Or other ways as to how to communicate to your roommate more effectively how it's bothering you. I do think that there needs to be a little bit more direct confrontation. I'm wondering if this is more of just side conversations, like in passing, versus hey, like, let's sit down, let's talk, right? I had a roommate for a while, great guy, really loved him. He was my at the time. This was over a decade ago, but at the time he was my girlfriend's brother. And had a great relationship. I was dating my girlfriend for years at that point. And I had moved from Oklahoma to Arizona to be closer to her. So this was a relationship that I was invested in. And so her brother and I became roommates and lived together just because we were good friends before I ended up marrying his sister. And then obviously we kicked him out and she moved in. But we had this kind of thing too, where in passing, there were some things between us. And I'll be honest, some of them I was the bad guy. Some of them he was the bad guy. And we had these kind of conversations in passing. Oh, you didn't do the dishes again. Oh, this thing is left out. Oh, this milk is empty. The things everyone does, even in marriage. This little bit of milk needed to be saved, huh? I'm the bad. I'll save that milk because I'll use it. I will use that milk. But so eventually we had to have, he was saying things to his sister and his mother. I was saying things to his sister, and eventually we were just talking around each other. We both needed to come to a table, sit down, and have an adult conversation. Hey, let's decide on if we can live together or not, right? Like you said, none of this stuff is a deal breaker, but there's obviously some more communication that needs to happen. Let's take a look at some of the comments. This thread title made me read the list. That's so funny. Number 2 made me laugh out loud. She is eating. What is she eating that you can hear her chew in another room? My wife complains about the way that I and my kids eat, because you can hear my little boys going. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, it could be a cheesesteak and somehow it's crunching with them. This one's great. I'm imagining chilling in my room and just hearing nom, 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 nom. Reading this made me realize that I might actually be a bad roommate. That's funny. And here's the op saying, listen, I'll say that the saving grace is that my roommate is pretty receptive to me pointing things out. Oh, it's interesting. It sounds like you're pointing things out and they're not being resolved. So I'd be interested to hear if you are pointing things out, like the microwave being open and then it's not being left open anymore. That's a good sign. That's good data. And sometimes she's been able to change a habit, like she hasn't left the burners on in a while. Well, that's life-saving. don't, that she needed to change that. But the fact that I constantly have to tell her things like, please throw out empty containers instead of just putting them back in the cabinet is what's so frustrating. Yeah, I mean, that is frustrating. And surely my wife has those complaints with me. I really don't have nearly as many complaints with her about those things. And some of the ones that I do have, they're so minute, like her crumbs, that I just take care of them myself. So, she could probably write this post about me leaving shoes where they don't belong or whatever, right? So if you wanted, you could, if you wanted to control the door and the cabinet slamming, get weather stripping or felt bumpers. Yeah, that's true. It would at least help you sleep. That's a really good one. And I would just hope that they're trying not to be loud, that they're having some sort of respect. I could get it if she's just a loud person and that's kind of hardwired. That's going to be a hard habit to just change without constant feedback of, hey, you were still too loud this morning. Hey, you were still too loud this morning, because sometimes they just don't think about it. I remember when I was a kid in school, my teachers always got me in trouble for talking too loud. And I didn't know I was doing it. That was distracting me. I didn't know I was doing it. My volume goes up. And so, I would get in trouble for it, but I needed the feedback. Hey, you're still too loud. Hey, you're still too loud. Hey, you're still too loud. But yeah, all in all, this was a simple one, a little bit more of a carefree one. I would say level up your communication skills a little bit. Have that, come to Jesus, sit down at the table. Let's talk about some frustrations. And who knows? She probably has some for you. That would be good data for you. Guys, if this has been helpful, feel free to schedule a free consultation with me over at sidebysideaz.com. If you want this kind of advice personalized to you, we can just talk for a free 15-minute session. And if we're a good fit, then we're a good fit and we can do some work together. If not, perhaps I could recommend you somewhere else. Finding a good therapist, counselor, mentor, pastor can be a lot like using Tinder. So let's give it a shot and see what happens if this was interesting to you. Otherwise, I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.